First person. I just wanted to share with you that last week's broadcast has been very powerful in helping me shift towards more steady joyfulness. The word trending is so easy to access and yet activates everything in me that helps me see where I truly am. We wanted to begin there because it was a big percentage of what you were writing about this week, because it speaks to something that we like very much, which is the expansion of our message to you in response to your readiness to receive, since it's attraction, attraction, attraction. So we've been talking about the law of attraction for a very long time. You've been hearing it. And we've been talking about you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. And we've been talking about your point of attraction, and that a belief is a thought that you continue to think. So we've been saying all of the same things that the word trending implies, but adding the word trending to the mix, as we recently added the word calibrating to the mix, gives you a more easy to access, moment by moment process for deliberate focus. We are about deliberate creating, because you create your own reality. You become the vibrational point of your own attraction in this attraction-based universe. And so when you understand how the universe works and how you do get what you think about, and then you apply your understanding of what your emotions are. Your emotions let you know, moment by moment as you feel them, whether you are in this moment trending in the same direction relative to your active subject as your inner being is trending. In other words, when you are really appreciating someone or something, and you feel that eagerness, that passion, that love or appreciation, those emotions indicate your mutual trending with your inner being. When you feel fearful or angry or any of those emotions that don't feel so good, that's your indicator that you are trending away from or in opposition to the way your inner being is looking at it right here and now. And that's important to know, because you and you can't get away from each other. In other words, you are inextricably tied to that vibrational frequency of your inner being, because you are an extension of that inner being. You can pinch it off through your dominant thoughts, making yourself not receive the benefit of that point of attraction. But since your inner being never stops attracting on your behalf, you know how we've explained it to you, that when you know what you don't want and therefore know what you do want, you launch a rocket of desire. And that rocket of desire is understood and focused upon then by your inner being. And the combining and culminating of the desires that you launch all day, every day, that becomes your vibrational reality. We call it your vortex. That's that culmination of desires that are melding together, becoming cooperative with one another by the attention of your inner being. Your inner being, who always focuses in the direction of your desire, who never trends ever in opposition to what you want and who you have already vibrationally become. So the emotions that you feel moment by moment are about your trending, about your thinking, about your expecting, about your believing. But let's say about your trending, meaning the direction of your thought here and now, the direction of your human, physical. You get to choose what you're focused upon and the direction that you're focused upon it. Now let's take trending. We like it that so many of you are listening from week to week. And even if you haven't been, you'll catch on to what we're getting at here soon. We never leave you out of the conversation, no matter how new to it you are. this trending is not just about where you are looking from where you are now standing. It's also about where you stand as you're looking. And where you stand right here and now in your physical perspective as you're looking or trending is about how you've been trending. In other words, where you've been recently, the thoughts that you've been thinking. Your beliefs are thoughts that you continue to think. There is a powerful trend in those thoughts, isn't there? Esther was watching some television recently, and she noticed that every commercial, several in a row, were all trending toward illness, all pointing out that you've probably got this and that you probably need this. And then she got thinking about how so much of the world is standing in a place of insecurity. That's the way they've been trending, and that's where they stand. So it's logical that as that's the way they've been trending and that's where they're standing, in other words, that's where they're coming from. In other words, that's the part of the emotional scale that they're coming from. We've been talking about the upper half, the good feeling half of the emotional scale, and the lower half of the emotional scale that doesn't feel so good. Where are you now as you are now having this thought or having this conversation or finding this memory? Where are you trending from? And what's the trending been that got you to where you're trending? Now, we know you're understanding this. It's perfectly obvious. But it is also bringing up some questions within you. Like, well, if I've been trending in a way that doesn't feel so good from the bottom half of the emotional scale, then how could I then trend differently here and now? And the answer to that question is, it depends on how strong the desire is that you are trending in opposition to. When you really, really care about something, there's stronger trending than when it's just a curiosity or it's just something that you've casually been thinking about. You'll hear much more as we're moving forward. But we like that you like the subject of trending or the word trending or the concept of trending. We like that you now understand that trending and believing and expecting are all the same thing. And that what you've been doing is likely what you are now doing, but it doesn't have to be. You can be more decisive in your moment. You can do what in the early days we called pivoting. I know what I don't want, therefore I know what I do want. And the more adept you get at making that pivot early in your awareness of negative emotion, then the easier it is to divert negative trending in the direction of positive trending. It really is what being decisive is about. So the more of the basics or the fundamentals of how the universe works you incorporate into your absolute understanding, the easier this all becomes. You could, for example, have incorporated our conversations about when you are specifically focused upon a subject, there is stronger trending happening than when you are generally focused. The more specific you are, the more details come into the picture, details that you might be in disagreement with here and there. So, in general, the more general you are, the easier it is to pivot, the easier it is to decide. So, let's say, for example, that you've been listening to us for a while, and you really do believe, or trend, that you are an extension of source energy, and that you have an inner being, and that your inner being feels good, and that your inner being is aware of you and knows you. Well, if you have incorporated that fundamental into your experience, then it would be easier for you to pivot on something specific that's really got your goat, that's really yanking your chain, that's really pushing your button. Someone could be in your face spewing something to you. You obviously don't like it. It feels confrontational. You don't like how you are feeling. It would be easier for you to pivot if you are good at stepping into that general place that goes something like, we are all loved and we're all doing the best that we can do. And we are helpful to each other in figuring out what we want. In other words, the more you have deliberately calibrated to good-feeling thoughts, the more they serve you or give you a fundamental backing or support, you might say, as you are in some moment in time confronted by something that you've attracted. Did you notice how tricky that was? You're confronted by something that you've attracted because there's no assertion. Confronting implies somebody asserted something at you. Attraction says you were trending. Sometimes you are trending so similarly to others that you just make big messes as you get into each other's experiences. And you want to blame the other one always, but it's that you were mutually trending. We like the word mutual so much because it is the best word that describes the way the law of attraction is. Did you ever say as a kid, Esther remembers it, usually when someone was snarky about something or rude about something, and she remembers saying or hearing, well, the feeling's mutual. And no truer words have ever been spoken because the feeling has to be mutual or the two of you would not be having the experience that you're having together. So, you're trending as a society, you're trending as a family, you're trending as a community, you're trending as an individual in relationship to your inner being. You're trending. You have control over how you trend, no matter how big the group that you're considering is that surrounds you. So, let's get to this and have some fun.